Time to make a decision. Decision time. Time to make a decision. Decision time.
Decisions. Who'd make them? Well, sometimes you have to do. And today is one of those where I do. I mean, I could actually just ignore it, go off and do something a bit more comfortable like I did do yesterday, or just crack on and tackle a problem. I'm not short of problems down here, and that's why I'm going to just simply have to fuck off. Getting on and doing a job that you don't want to do takes focus. And when it's cold like this, you do find it's easy to lose focus, especially when somebody brings round Charlotte Church for you to talk about. Yes, it's this very, very same car. Charlotte Church has come back to the yard just for a quick visit because it's going off to pastures new. That's right. My friend Thomas bought this, did all of the work on it, and now he's sold it to another chap who's just stood over there. He doesn't want to appear on video, and it's going to a new home. And no doubt he's spent a fortune on this because I know that Thomas did. Back to the decision making and back to the work and the cold. Decision making today is all about this car, known as Sheeson. It's a nice car, or at least it was, until it stopped working. Here's the plan. Tow this car up to the other end of the yard, drop out the fluid, change it for some new stuff, and see whether that works. I was hoping just to be able to jump this, but it seems the battery's completely goosed. The curse of the dead battery again. This time though, I thought that one was okay. Maybe there's something draining it in the car that's just carried on draining it for the past couple of weeks. Or whatever the case, I don't really think that's going to come back to life. Bit of trickery. Can we jump start it? This battery looks like it's quite clean actually, but why it's gone so flat so quickly, I don't know. And also starting that car's not necessary because it's not going to drive anywhere. But power steering, that helps. That helps manoeuvre it a little bit whilst you push it. But in the meantime, have another car to move. It needs to be moved so that the other one can go there. Now, I don't know what's happened to the key fob for this car, but it seems to have gone missing, which is exactly why having a spare is so important. It really wouldn't be a lot of fun here if it wasn't for the never-ending problems. One problem leads to another problem, leads to another problem. All I want to do is move that car over here so that one can go over there. I have facilities to charge batteries, of course I do, and I'm always charging batteries, but the trouble is there's not a lot of point in charging batteries when they're completely goosed anyway, and that seems to be the way I end up with many of my cars, with batteries that are already knackered. They stay here for a little bit, then they get worse, and then the decent batteries that I do have, I have to put on other cars when they're leaving the yard. So that's the spare key for the car called Nefarious Neville, and I presume that it was just the battery in the fob that was stopping it from working, but no. So the non-spare key for this is at home. What a cock-up. Big battery attached to this one then. And don't tell me it's not the right key. And the same problem with this one as well. Immobiliser won't go off. I mean, seriously, mate, come on. Is that not working? It's not working. No. So the fob's given up on this one. Either that or the battery's gone so low that it's taken the connection with it as well. So it's going to have to be reprogrammed before I can even do anything that, honestly, you know, I would be best off just going and getting in my car and getting something to eat right now. None of this is going well at all. None of it. It's quite annoying, really. That's a new problem on that car, a new problem on this one. That one already had a problem that is admittedly much bigger than the problem it's now got. But even so, it just causes more and more of a problem, doesn't it? Sometimes you come to the conclusion that you may as well stop doing something for a while, take a break, go and get something to eat. Because I don't have the key, I don't have any battery power, and I also don't have any food in my tummy. And I haven't had since last night. I'm going for something to eat. I should take out Kenneth, the Rover 75, to do this particular trip to get something to eat. Because I need to put to the test a little job I did on it. But the only thing is, if we look inside here, we can see there's no mount on the windscreen. So that means I'm going to have to take that one instead. The thing is, I just love driving this car. I do. So it's kind of an excuse to go out in it. I don't need to test this for anything, but I do want to just go out in it. Do you ever get so hungry that it makes you feel sick? Of course you do. Everybody does. That happens to everybody. When you go beyond that point of being a bit peckish into being really super hungry, and then you ignore it for a while because you're busy doing something else. It's not like my day of disorganisation has been caused by me just not really trying, because I have. I just get too many obstacles chucked at me. It's worthwhile mentioning as well, I haven't spent the whole day doing this. Allegro Man was around earlier and we drove one of his cars. So that took me to 12 o'clock. So it's taken 3 hours to do nothing. It's taken 3 hours of bumbling around, swapping batteries, swapping fob batteries, all of these kind of things, to the point where I've got so hungry that I can't even think properly any longer. Gosh, that sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Doing? At least I can still drive though, unlike that character. What a lovely old Beetle. You see loads of Morris Minors around from the 60s, but not many Beetles. That shows the difference between British engineering and German engineering. As content as I am with Bill Helen Mirren, I can't help but think there must be something that can be done about its get up and go, because it is as slow as... I'm not going to say 0 to 60 in the time it takes to read War and Peace. That's just stupid. Even 0 to 60 in the time it takes to read The Hungry Caterpillar. But maybe it has the acceleration characteristics of a hot air balloon. So is there anything that can be done about it? Hello and welcome to the next day, which is just as cold as the previous day. I was thinking about trimming my beard and my hair, but not whilst it's like this. I'm really going to feel it, aren't I? Anyway, I think I've found the missing key. That is for this. I was trying to use the spare yesterday and it wouldn't start. As this battery that looks like it's quite new doesn't look like it's ever going to work again, I'm going to have to use Nigel's. Nigel's never had a problem with the battery. It's always been good. So, oh yeah. I don't really like doing this. Oh gosh, that's quite stiff on there. Battery on. Now the key. I'm sure it's that one. I hope it's this one, because otherwise I'm buggered, aren't I? Oh dear. Oh, yes. Brilliant, right. That's a relief. Whoa. Very, very grindy. Very grindy indeed. Oh, it pulls quite freely as well. Actually feels quite nice to drive, I forgot about that. Good, well done. Yeah, the engine feels really healthy on that. Mind you, I have been used to driving around that diesel and everything feels quick compared to that. So the next thing to do is to fill this space with a car that doesn't actually work. I keep wanting to call this car Fred the Shed, and I shouldn't. Anyway, there we have this hooked up to the hook. Oh, shite! Oh, where's that come from? It's not my dog. Anyway, in the case of this rolling off the back of there for some reason, I'm going to operate this with the handbrake on, at least mostly on. Now, will we have enough boost? Doesn't look like it, does it? The only thing I can do is try and tow it from the front, but there's nothing to hook it on with. Having got myself completely stuck with absolutely no chance of pulling this car up the slope with a front wheel drive car, I ended up kind of asking next door if he wouldn't mind just having a tug with his Shogun. This particular car I reviewed it ages back. And then of course once we got to the location where the car had to be backed in, then I discovered that the car had a bit of flat tyre and it was a bit more difficult to push. But no worries, because all hands were on deck, it would seem. Yep, the chaps next door, they have a lot of fun with me, but they're also rather generous as well. Thanks, chaps. And now, time to drain the gearbox fluid from the car known as Sheeson. However, we did have another little problem to deal with as well. That is that it wouldn't start anyway yesterday, because now the Immobiliser has done its work. So I'm going to give it another go with the battery and see whether it could trick it. That's better. And if not, I'll see if I've got the emergency access code knocking about for it. I've run out of milk now. Next step, put the battery on this. If it doesn't work, go searching for the emergency access code. Well, that didn't work, but I looked in the glove box and I found the emergency access code. Brilliant. It's worked. Yes. Good. Are you the superstitious type? Friday the 13th. That's not me asking Friday the 13th if they are the superstitious type. It's me asking you if you're the superstitious type because it's Friday the 13th. I'm not. Although I'm in my scruffy clothes now, I'm still not looking forward to scrabbling around on the floor. So thank you. I have apostrophe, another piece of carpet, hoo hoo hoo, another piece of carpet, hoo hoo. Nice squirt of penetrating fluid. I won't say what it is. Well, I will. I can just bleep it out. I suspect that drain plug won't want to come out very easily. How long was it since the fluid was changed? No idea. Rightio, there's my hex piece, hex thingy in place, and I suspect it's not going to come out. Yeah, I just have that feeling that I might as well just lounge around on the floor like this, trying to get comfortable. Because I bet that's done up too tightly. Yep, I don't like the way that feels at all. Pulling it gently and it's just give it a go, or take off the entire plate. Spilling fluid everywhere. That shouldn't be done up finger tight, but really with a 3/4 inch ratchet and it not moving, that's not right, is it? I don't want to, but I'm going to have to try it with the breaker bar. Chances are this gearbox is scrap anyway. No, even with the breaker bar, that's not going to come out. It's just going to break. Look at the flex in that. That is ridiculous. Really pointless. Well, looks like I'm just going to have to find a really big tub and just take the whole plate off. Right, so there's loads of 10mm bolts holding the oil sump pan on. So I've slackened them all off so the oil can just start to release itself into the big tub. I've left the oil to drain for a while, just trickling out. Gone off, done something else. Lunch specifically. Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. So now I'm glad that the drain plug wouldn't come undone, because otherwise I'd have drained it all off and then replaced all the fluid, and that costs about £30. And there wouldn't have been any point because it wouldn't have made it any better. This car's fate is unfortunately sealed. Unless somebody can buy it to mend it, it's going to be spares, isn't it? So I've put it up for sale straight away as spares or repair. Fully expecting the usual scrap offers just to come about, but what's the point? So that's the end of this video. A rather unfortunate end, but it was what I was expecting. So thank you for watching and being a subscriber and being a channel member, liking the video. And for those that dislike the video,